Um, one of the reasons I'm so optimistic, Phil, to answer your question, why am I so positive? Why am I so optimistic? Is because I know we've been here before. And I remember when I was a kid, growing up in the 1980s, I remember in the mid 80s, we had ashtrays all over my house. Now, my parents didn't smoke, but back in the early 80s, I know everybody born like after 1985 is not going to understand this, but let me tell you, this was the way the world was. People had ashtrays in their living rooms, whether you smoked or not, because the expectation was if someone came over to your house, they were going to light up a cigarette in your living room. Can you imagine if someone came to your home and lit a cigarette? You would never let them do that. That would be unconscionable today, right? Well, what changed? Well, has there ever been a single law that says you cannot smoke in someone's private residence? Of course not. There's never been such a law. What changed was that people adopted what we call social antibodies. They inoculated each other to these unhealthy behaviors. How did that happen? In my household, one day, my mom, who was a non-smoker, took away the ashtrays. She threw them away. And when her friend came over and just, reflexively took out a pack of cigarettes and was about to smoke, she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We are non-smokers. If you'd like to smoke, if you'd be so kind as to go outside." This was so offensive. How dare you ask me to go smoke outside? This was a big deal back then. But of course, now nobody would ever smoke in your living room without at least asking, right? Well, by my mother bravely standing up and saying, "No, we are non-smokers. This is our identity. This is who we are. And this is therefore what we do in our household." She was part of this social change, which today is the norm. That's what we have to do with becoming indistractable. That's why the book is called what it is, because we should stand up finally and say, you know what? I am indistractable. I don't respond to every text message in 30 minutes. Right? That's not who I am. I'll respond when I get to it. I don't constantly check email all day long. I like my focused work time. And maybe I do a little bit of weird things, right? Maybe some of these tactics are, maybe I make a schedule so that I know how I spend my time. Yeah, maybe it's a little different than most people. But is it any different from someone who calls themselves a vegetarian and has an unusual diet, or someone who calls themselves a devout Muslim and wears a hijab? No, it's not that different. It's just part of their identity. And so that's why I want this indistractable identity to be part of what people call themselves and proudly declare themselves so, because that is how we will spread these social antibodies around distraction.